Hi kids, hi parents, this is Betsy from Easy Peasy, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to hold the scissors and how to cut. So if you're new to cutting, there's a lot of steps involved, and parents, it's not as easy as we take it because we've been doing it for so many years. So we're going to go step by step how to hold the scissors and how to cut. So here we go. Everybody ready? First, we have our pair of scissors. These are the kids' safety scissors, which I recommend. They're not as sharp, so if they accidentally cut their fingers, they can't get hurt. Okay, so we have our scissors. We want to hold the scissors with whichever hand that we usually write with or color with. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the scissors are standing up. This is going to help us with cutting. Okay, when parents, a common mistake is the kids start to lay the scissors down. Don't lay them down. They can't lay down and take a nap. They have to be standing up like this, up and down, okay, in order for them to cut. If they lay down, then they won't be able to cut anymore, and you'll see it gets very frustrating on the paper, okay? So you won't be able to cut. So we're going to hold it up and down, and we're going to take our hand that we usually write with, and we're going to, remember how we do chomp, 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 chomp? See, this is going to chomp, chomp, chomp too. So we have our pinchers, and we have our chomper, okay? Now it's going to go upside down, and the thumb is going to go in the smaller hole, and the fingers are going to go in the bigger hole, okay? I'll show you on mine. This one's not big enough for all my fingers, but I'll show you on mine. So the scissors have to be up and down. They can't go to sleep or they won't work, okay? They have to be up and down, and we're going to chomp, but it's going to be upside down chomping. Your thumb is going to be on top. We're going to put our thumb in the small hole and our fingers in the big hole, okay? Parents, it's easiest if they can fit all their fingers in. If not, as many as they can fit, the better they can grasp it when they're learning, okay? As we get older, some people use 2 or use 3, but when they're beginning, the more that will fit in there, the better, because they can get a better grip, okay? So first 2 things, the scissors have to be up and down. They have to be up and down, standing up, ready to cut. If they lay down, then they won't work, okay? So they have to be standing up, and then we put our thumb in the little hole, and we put our fingers in the big hole, okay? And we get it nice and tight in there. Then we have to open the scissors and close the scissors. Open, close, open, close. I like to say chomp, 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 like an alligator, because I think this kind of looks like an alligator mouth. What do you think? Think it looks like an alligator? So we're going to chomp, 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 okay? So that's how to hold the scissors. Now we're going to talk about how to cut on the paper, okay? So a couple things. When we start using paper, I'm going to show you on a big piece of paper cutting, but parents, it's easier for kids to start with smaller pieces of paper, and that has to do with holding the larger paper. It's also easier to do papers that are a little thicker, so Post-it notes or cardstock or things like that. I recommend using half sheets to start with them, if not even smaller. We have this little writing tablet. This is my favorite thing for my daughter to cut, for her to cut with on her own right now. So I would say half sheet is the biggest to start with, unless you're sitting there and helping them with how to hold it, okay? So the next step that we need to learn is how to hold the paper. So when we cut, we actually need to use 2 hands. One hand is going to hold the scissors up and down, not laying down, up and down, and the other hand has to hold the paper. So be sure that they are understanding, hold the paper on the side, cut with the scissors, cut, 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 and sometimes if it's bigger paper, or if they're trying to go farther, teach them to hold. It's hard to get them to understand to hold wherever it's comfortable, but to try and get them to understand they can move their hand as they cut. As you cut, we can move my hand up here, okay, because that makes it easier to cut. And then I can move my hand up here even, and that makes it easier to cut. So you're going to use both hands actively. One hand is holding, but it moves along as you cut further and further. And the other hand is chomping with the scissors. Okay, chomp, chomp, chomp. Now, as you chomp, kids, you have to go chomp, open. Then you have to move your scissors forward. Chomp, open. Move them forward. They have to get closer to the paper as they eat it, okay, as they chomp on it. A common problem, parents, is that they cut once and they just keep cutting in the same spot. And so we don't think about this, but you have to teach all these small little steps. So not only do they have to push the scissors down and be able to open them back up, which is 2 different things, they have to move forward with each step. So the slower they go in the beginning when they're learning it, the better. So they're gonna cut, open, move the scissors up closer. There we go. Cut, open, move the scissors up, and I may need to move my hand up too. My hand's back here to hold the paper. I need to move it up here. Cut, open, okay? Now, these scissors, these safety scissors we have here, one of the features I really like them is this. This is a little helper. I don't know if you've ever seen this on scissors before. I got these actually at the Dollar Tree and I was happy to find them with this. So when you flip this in, it actually helps the scissors open on their own so that the kids have a little assist instead of having to do that on their own. So they push it down. The crunch part, the chomp part is a little more difficult, but it lifts up by itself. And so this is a little assist when they're learning that helps it open by itself because they are learning a lot at once. There's a lot of steps involved in this. So first, scissors have to be up and down. You put your thumb in the small one and your fingers in the big one. Parents, most scissors for beginning scissors don't have a left or a right feel to them. Like adult scissors have this groove here that's more for right-handed people or left-handed people. These don't, so it doesn't matter if your child is right or left-handed, either they should work either way because there's no groove there. So then they're going to cut, open, move forward, cut, open, move forward, cut, open. So you can say as the alligator goes, he chomps, comes up, moves forward, does another chomp, comes up, moves forward, does another chomp, and watch the hand. The hand also, you have to teach them, now move your hand up. As the scissors go further, move this hand up to hold it, okay, to hold the paper. So it is easier for them to start with half sheets or even smaller sheets like this. My daughter will sit and cut this by herself, and she's able to get all the way to the end, which is what she feels is successful, and cutting and cutting and cutting. Do not worry if they are straight lines or if they are all over the place like this and kind of just torn up little fringes. That is not a problem. The more practice they get right now, the better. So remember, at this point, we are just practicing using the scissors. You don't want to give them an object. Look, there's a square on this paper. Can you cut out the square? They will not be successful with that when they are just starting. So if you have worksheets or activities where something needs to be cut out and then glued, I recommend you cutting it out for them and then practicing using glue on that activity, because if they have to be very careful with the lines, they will not be able to do it at first, and it will probably end in tears. It will be very sad because they, cut into the shape or did it incorrectly. All right, so practice. You can gradually get into practicing straight lines. My daughter turned 3 a month ago, and she does practice on straight lines, but her favorite activity is to cut these papers into tiny pieces, and she'll sit at the table by herself and cut small pieces for 20 minutes by herself. So, and she's practicing, so I think that's awesome. To start cutting in lines and to get more expert, if you will, and to get more fine motor skills instead of just cutting papers whatever happens with the scissors, I recommend this book. It is my first book of cutting by this brand, which I believe is Kumon. I'm not really sure how to say it, but it is my first book of cutting. You can get it on Amazon, and it says ages 3, 4, and 5. We actually started with when it was 2, but I was helping her. So whenever your kid is ready, you can look and see. We are about 10 pages in, and we are doing activities like this. We just started activities where you could see that the lines are arrows where the scissors go, and then the line turns. This is the first page where it's turned. So, and we have gone through about 20 pages. The beginning pages are straight lines so that you rip the page out. And this has been a very enjoyable activity for my daughter. I do help her with it. It's one-sided, because obviously you're going to cut it. So we rip one page out, and then they are also learning to follow where the scissors is and where the arrow is, which way it's going to go. So the first ones were just a line or 3 lines across the paper, and they would, with my help, okay, where's your hand? Where does your hand go? And then move the scissors. And I definitely start with helping them so that they can be successful. And then when they're done, they have cute little pictures and strips, with the bunny rabbit and the turtle, and my 3-year-old thinks that's awesome to have those strips done. which lasts about 5 minutes. And then she says, can I cut these now? And starts cutting them into tiny pieces, which is totally fine. Again, the more practice they get, the better with scissors. So I recommend this book to start. It starts with straight lines and it's interesting for them. I think it's $5 or $6 on Amazon. And remember our keys here. So we have the scissors up and down. They can't fall asleep. They fall asleep, then they won't cut the paper, okay? So it has to stay up and down. Then we put our thumb in the little hole and our fingers in the big hole. Then we hold the paper with our other hand. So we hold the paper over here and we can hold the paper close to the scissors to start. And we chomp, open, move it forward. Chomp, open, move it forward. Now my hand's back here. So I need to move my hand up here on the side or even up here closer to the scissors so I can hold the paper. Okay, the scissors can't hold the paper. You have to use your hand to hold the paper. Chomp, open, move it forward. Chomp, open, move it forward. You'll notice they tend to do this because it naturally feels better on their hand. They tend to put it down, and then they get very frustrated because it won't cut. So those are the tips for how to use scissors, and I hope you have fun with scissors. Be safe. I do recommend reminding them every time you start with scissors, scissors can only cut paper, and repeat that to them and have whatever you want for them at the table and anything you don't want cut away from the table until they get the hang of it and can be more trusted. The first time I gave my daughter scissors, she said, we cut the paper, and she said, and the next I can cut my brother's hair. And I, where did you get that from? But the week before, she had seen me give her brother a haircut in his high chair. So be sure that they're very clear that these are their scissors, not any other scissors in the house. These are the little kid's scissors, not the grown-up scissors. You can't use the grown-up scissors, and the safety of only cutting paper, okay? Like I said, the safety scissors are nice because most likely they're not gonna hurt themselves with the safety scissors, so that's nice. But they could cut something else that you don't want cut. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe to my channel, share it with a friend. So comment if you enjoyed it and let me know what you'd like to see next. We did this when I had several people suggest scissors, so here we are. So let me know what you'd like to see next and have an easy peasy day. Have fun, kids, have fun, parents. Enjoy your time cutting with your scissors.